Okay, so I like to think of we're in G major, and like every note has a purpose. Okay, so like we've got 7 notes basically in the scale at our disposal, and so we can think of the 1 and the 5 and the 3. Are you guys all? Are we all like into numbers? Are we number positive here or? Nice. Okay, so like thinking of things as intentions and resolves. So like those are your landing spots that make things work. You know, they make those feel like home. Over like the tonic, over the G, you know, a G thing. G, B are places that you land, okay? And then we can get into like the 2. Okay? 4, 6, and 7. And so I guess what I would ask of you guys to do, like, you know, just put a drone on and like see how each note kind of makes you feel when it's related to the, like, I mean, there's every note has, and I don't know how, I don't have the words to describe, you know, exactly what, you know, you would say the, you know, an A note feels over the G, but you'll start to, you know, develop an intuition. That's the whole thing about improvising. It's like developing an intuition where you're not thinking about, you know, because improvising is not regurgitating licks. It's like it's composing on the spot. And so my kind of challenge to you guys maybe would be like, okay, let's put on a G drone note, and can I just make really simple phrases? We're gonna start off just like ending them on something like 1, 3, or 5. Okay, so like start somewhere, choose a note, and then, okay, that's cool. That's a phrase that works musically. Okay, oh, now we're ending on something. We're ending on something that doesn't resolve. Now, how do I make that make sense? So you can just kind of play around with all these 7 notes, making little phrases, and making them more and more complicated. And then once you kind of get an understanding of like, okay, what works, then you can start kind of playing with notes that are, you know, kind of your chromatic things. Like how do you start anywhere and make it make sense is kind of how I like to. So like I will do this a lot. Like this is kind of part of my practice routine is I will just kind of put on, usually I'll choose, you know, 1 a day, like 1 note a day, and I will just like, I will put my hand anywhere and like make it work. You know, and which it often doesn't work, but the more you do it, the more it works. And my other, well, this is a related point, is that like when you're practicing improvising, like do less stuff for more time. Like do something for like half an hour or an hour. Like play Arkansas Traveler for 30 minutes. You know, like do one thing until it becomes really boring, and then you kind of push through the wall of really understanding it. And I think that's like where really improvising starts to take off, is when you kind of exhaust all of your kind of conscious thinking about it stuff, and you really get into knowing. When you really know something, that's when you start to improvise. And then the more that you know, if you work on Arkansas Traveler for, you know, half an hour, you know, your whiskey before breakfast is going to be better. You know, it's going to translate, because better than if you worked on each for 5 minutes, I feel like. And maybe that's just complete, you know, horse crap, but